All right, let's dive into something I find absolutely fascinating, the ultimate showdown between pure blind luck and a cold, hard, disciplined system. We're going to pull apart a specific betting strategy to ask a really big question. Is it actually possible to find a reliable path through the complete chaos of chance?
So, let me set the scene for you. Picture this, it's 1992. A guy named Archie Karas rolls into Las Vegas with just $50 to his name. 50 bucks. And what happens next? Well, it's the stuff of legend.
He went on what is now famously known as the run. He turned that $50 into, get this, a staggering $40 million. It is without a doubt one of the wildest stories in the history of betting. So you have to ask yourself, right? Was this guy just the beneficiary of the most insane lucky streak of all time? A total cosmic fluke? Or was there something else going on? Was there maybe a method to all that madness? And that question, right there, is the perfect jump-off point for what we're really digging into today. It's this core idea, the power of a repeatable system to just maybe outperform random luck when you play the long game. Let's just break that down for a second. Think about it. Luck is like catching lightning in a bottle, right? It's random, it's unpredictable, you can't count on it. A system, though, is the polar opposite. It's a blueprint. It's built on data. And it's a process that you can apply over and over and over again to try and find an edge. Okay, so let's get practical and look at a real-world example of what one of these systems looks like. This one has a pretty cool name, too. It's called the Football Money GPS. So, what does it do? Well, its job is laser-focused. It sifts through tons of football matches, trying to pinpoint the ones that have the highest chance of being total goal fests. It was specifically built for a popular bet called over 2.5 goals, which is just a fancy way of saying you're betting that there'll be 3 or more goals in the match total. And that name, GPS, is actually the perfect way to think about it. See, this thing isn't a crystal ball. It's not promising you it knows the future. No, it's more like a satellite navigation system for your money, using data to calculate the most logical route to take through all the noise and chaos. So, you're probably asking, okay, so how does this thing actually work? What's under the hood? Well, you might be surprised to hear that it all boils down to just 2 core data-driven rules. It's basically a 2-filter system. First, it looks at the combined offensive firepower of both teams in a match. Then, it does a quality check to make sure one team isn't just carrying the other. Let's break down each of those steps. Okay, rule number 1, it's all about recent history. The system looks at the last 8 matches for each team. It calculates the average number of goals scored in those games for Team A and does the same for Team B. Then it just adds those 2 averages together to get one big combined number. Now here's the crucial part. For a match to even be considered, to even get past the first filter, that combined average has to be at least 7. That's a really high bar. And it's there on purpose, to immediately weed out everything except for the most potentially explosive matchups. But, you know, a high combined average isn't the whole story. I mean, you could have one team that scores 6 goals a game and another that scores 1, and that would get you to 7. So the system has a safeguard to make sure both teams are genuine threats. And that brings us to the second rule. And this rule is just as strict. Each team, on its own, must have an individual average of at least 3 goals over their last 8 matches. This is the quality check. It ensures you have 2 offensively powerful teams facing off, which dramatically increases the potential for a high-scoring game. Okay, so let's say a match makes it through both of those filters. The system flags it, the data's screaming that there's a high probability of goals. So, what happens next? How do you turn that insight into an actual decision? This is where the rubber really meets the road. Moving from just analyzing data to actually taking action. Because finding the match is only half the battle. The system also gives you clear guidelines on exactly how to proceed. And the decision all comes down to the odds you're being offered. It's a simple rule. If the odds are 1.8 or higher, the system recommends placing a single bet on just that one match. But if the odds are lower than that, it advises you to bundle that match with other qualified games into a multiple bet, like a double or a treble, to increase the potential payout. So let's just zoom out for a second and look at the big picture here. After deconstructing this football money GPS, what's the really important takeaway? What's the main idea we should walk away with?
Well, here it is. The system isn't a crystal ball. It's a tool. It's using statistics to find a logical path and make bets that over time have positive value. But you know what the real challenge is? It isn't finding the right match, it's the psychological discipline to actually stick to the rules even when you're on a losing streak and trust the process over your gut. It's about probability, not prophecy.
And that leaves us with one final thought. We've seen how a disciplined, data-driven system can try to impose some kind of order on a seemingly random event. But is it truly enough to conquer the beautiful, unpredictable nature of chance in the long run? Well, that's the $1 million or perhaps the $40 million question, isn't it?